Hello everyone and welcome back to the No Name Show, and I want to take some time today to talk a little bit about my ever landscape of changing cameras. Well, if you all know, I've been looking for additional cameras and trying to figure out what's going to be my next move when it comes to the type of cameras that I use. Currently I've been using the Panasonic S5s, which I really do love. They have a great image quality. But there were some things that I've recently decided that I was going to stop doing, on the side, as far as shooting weddings and a few other things. So, and I decided to kind of scale back from using the Panasonics because they are more of a filmmaking type of system. A lot of people don't see them as that, but the S5, the S1, S1H, those are all great cameras that you can use for photography, but they do a much better job of video in a lot of areas. So I started looking around, and as you can see, I've toyed around with several different camera models to use in a lot of different points of view and aspects. So I wanted to use the camera for a webcam during the day whenever I'm actually working the full-time job. I wanted to use the camera to shoot photography as far as landscapes, nature, portraits, architectural photography. I've always been a fan and just love the aspect of seeing from a creator's eye of what they built and then being able to capture that image for just something that stands the test of time. Then I started looking at, okay, well, I still want to do some video, but I'm not really concerned with doing a lot of things around weddings as much. I kind of scaled that whole side of my business back a long time ago just because of full-time job and everything else, family, right? Trying to make sure you balance everything correctly. So I decided to say, okay, well, what's the next thing? I kind of want to still do some interviews, which, like I said, you guys are going to see some things coming up soon. I've already shot a couple in a series. Just trying to put everything together so that way I can kind of release them in the right way. So I've been working behind the scenes. I've just, got stuck with life. And and a lot of things that typically everyone goes through during the any time of the year. There's no set time frame. But here's the thing. So I said, all right, I want something that's a good all-purpose camera that's good, just generally simple to use, but yet complex when I need it to be, and it's going to give me great image quality for video and stills. So with that being said, as you can see, I went through Nikon. I went through Fujifilm, I went through Canon. I really did buy just to try to figure out what was going to be the next camera that I wanted to purchase. Coming from Panasonic, the one thing that always stood out that everyone complained about and I never really worried as much about was the autofocus. And it wasn't that it was horrible or it was unusable. It definitely was usable. I made it work when I needed to. But I wanted something that was a little bit more reliable, and I wanted something that was going to be kind of state of the art, something that stood out, better than the rest. And that kind of leads me to my choice, because for those that know me, they know I've always said there was one brand in particular that I just didn't have any desire to go back to. I owned several cameras in the past with them, but I just wasn't sure what in the world that I would want to go and get. Well, needless to say, I decided to, I'm a Sony shooter now. So it's something that is a revelation that I thought about it for a while. I'm actually on the A7IV right now. I'm also using the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 lens, which I think is one of the reasons why I decided to go this route, because it's such a great lens and there's some features about it that we'll talk about over time. And then I said I needed a companion camera because I didn't want to just get rid of two S5 bodies that I was using to go with just one camera. I wanted to have something else that I can use for vlogging and trying to expand myself to another career path within the YouTube area and genre that I'm trying to reach out and broaden my horizons to really make this channel more fun, because I know it's very boring right now. So for those who tune in all 16 of you guys who look at my videos. I thank you very much, and hopefully you can share it with others and they can join as well. And like I said, it's going to be a learning channel and just some fun, and have some things that I wanted to kind of stand out and do differently from everybody else. I don't want to brand myself as one channel or another, because there's so many things that I'm interested in. Like you guys, right? You don't just have one layer of passion. You have other things that you like to do. And that's what I am. I'm a car enthusiast. I'm a sci-fi person. So you may see me start to review a show like Andor, which, by the way, if you have not seen Star Wars Andor and you're a fan of the Star Wars universe, please take some time to watch it, and watch it all the way through. Don't just watch the couple episodes at the beginning and say it's a slow burn, because it does give you another layer of Star Wars that you've never seen before. But see, I'm running off on a tangent. See how easy that is? Now, like I said, I wanted to find a companion camera, and I have not even opened this thing up yet. I've had it for 2 days now, and I decided to go with, it's another Sony, right? But, and you see that's one thing I was missing from the Panasonic, just that true dedicated autofocus, that smooth, cinematic, or fast when I need it to be. This is the Sony ZV-1F, right? And this camera is 100% a solid camera. Now my light's kind of low in here. I'm gonna turn the light up. I was kind of setting the mood, you know. So let's turn this up to about 50. That brings it a little bit brighter. So yeah, like I said, I haven't unboxed it yet. So I saw it in the store. I saw reviewers online, and I was torn, because a lot of reviewers would do one thing or the other, right? They're gonna review it to a spec, and they never touch the camera, so they don't really know. They just go off of, well, this camera versus the ZV-1, and you know, just so you didn't know what the ZV-1 has, it's right here. And the ZV-1, you know, is a great small compact vlogging type camera that Sony released almost 2 years ago now. I think it was released in 2020, or late 2020. And it's a great little camera, small, compact, has a nice little extendable range zoom lens that's equivalent to like a 24 to 70, I believe it is. So it's a very similar range, whereas this camera is a fixed lens, and it's a 20mm lens. And I'm not set up yet to do a face down, top down, beautiful shot, you know, unboxing. But I don't want this to be an unboxing channel, right? I'm, you know, that's kind of old and boring. But I'm gonna pull out the contents here so you kind of see what's in here. This is the paper wrapped, I believe it's the battery. Oh no, actually it's not the battery. This is the hot shoe, called a dead cat, or you know, looks like a toupee to me. Anyway, so for someone who's hair challenged, you can always use this as a backup. You have a USB-C cable. It's a USB-A to C cable there. There is, yeah, here's the battery, and it's a small battery, and this is the, let's see, this is a Sony MP-BX1. So it's a very small compact battery. There you go, folks, there. And it supposedly gets you a pretty decent amount of shots on the actual camera itself. And then last but not least, this is the ZV-1F. Small, compact, very simple to use. I think I must have the focus turned down a little bit because it's a little slow. All right, so I was playing around with this a little while ago, and your screen pops out so you can actually see everything here. And it's a small fixed 20mm lens. So, and this is really lightweight, and the battery is hardly nothing anyway. So putting the battery and a memory card in the bottom is not going to make this thing feel like a pound. So it's an awesome little camera. And I figured, you know, hooking this up with one of my tripods, I think I'm gonna try to grab it. And you know, now I've got a nice little vlogging camera that I can either hold just like this, right? And I can just use my hand and just walk down and just vlog that way, right? And then I've got the screen here so I can actually see myself. And then I could also use it as a webcam. So in theory, this may become my webcam, which alleviates me using my A7S4, my A7IV as a webcam. I mean, now granted, when I'm on calls, everyone always asks, what camera you using, what camera you using? Then when I tell them what it is, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not buying that. This, on the other hand, is very affordable. This is only $499 or $500 US. And I can tell you, it feels pretty good. I was impressed when I saw it for the first time. And I was like, okay, that's something kind of cool. But at the time, like I said, I was still that, Sony guy who, or I should say that never Sony guy or never again Sony guy. Because I actually had several Sony cameras in my earlier days of actually shooting as a photographer. And I had the original, what was it called? The mirrorless cameras. They had the translucent mirrors. It's like the A55, I believe it was like an A85, I believe it was, or A95. I can't remember the numbers because it's been so long since I had them. And then I actually had the original A7 and the A7 Mark II. I own both of those cameras, and I did enjoy shooting with them. The image quality with Sony has never been a problem. It's always been one, they were ahead of their time with the A7 Mark II. And they were doing really good by just building the lens lineup up, but they just had something that was just not there. The color science wasn't that great. It was really slow. I think the A7 might have shot at 3 frames per second or 4 frames per second. It was really, really slow. And then on top of that, the video specs were not that good at all. It lacked a lot of control over video and some of the stills. So it was just like not that impressive whatsoever. And I was really flustered and just wondering, why did I buy it? So I returned it, and then I think I went back to Canon. Actually, I went back to Panasonic and bought a GH5, I believe it was, when it first came out. And I enjoyed the mirrorless side of things when it came to the Micro Four Thirds. Went over to Nikon and Canon, flirted with their 2 full frame mirrorless cameras, which was the Canon EOS R. And then I never bought the RP, just the EOS R. And then I bought the Sony Z6, the very first Z6. And I had both of those I had the R for probably less than 10, 15 days. And I returned it back to B&H. Then I went to the Z6, which I thought the Z6 was going to be a much better camera overall. And it really was. I actually had the Z6 for almost a year, and then I had an accident with that one. So I probably would still be a Nikon shooter today if I hadn't took a dump into a bath of water. I was trying to do a very creative shot, and tripod was not locked down correctly. So needless to say, it fell in some water, and I had to replace it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And the reason why I actually went this route versus going with something like a GoPro or a DJI Action 2, which is another brand I'm really fond of, is the fact that the menu system between both of these cameras are identical. It's just one of those things where, I have a full touch screen here. I have a full touch screen on the A7IV. I actually have settings that I can kind of match in between the two of them. Needless to say, I think the color science is slightly better on the A7IV than it is on the ZV-1F. So I'm not 100% sure what in the world I'm going to do when it comes to that scenario. But I think that for this, I'm going to use it primarily as a webcam if I like the image, because I may not. I might just keep it as a vlogging camera when I'm out. I'm going to start doing a little bit of walk and talks, and it's part of me getting myself back into my 1999 shape. So I'm trying to lose about 25 pounds between now and January 31st. It's doable, and I think I can really push it, but I'm going to start doing some walks and talks, a little vlogging experience there, kind of expressing some thoughts. Probably the best time to probably hear some good tips and stuff that's going on in the industry around security, physical, cyber, and then some of the things that we may see that pops up with IoT. But over the next few weeks, you guys are going to see some videos, a couple of them shot on the Panasonic. I will just put in notes what it was shot on. But for the most part, these are going to be just really simple, easy to shoot cameras that, I think anyone can pick up. The creativity side of things, if you want to go with a Sony or a Canon or Nikon or a Fujifilm or Panasonic. It's out there, right? It's the thing is, you got to find what you like. If you're, striving to become a photographer, or you want to learn a little bit more, feel free, reach out, write some comments below. I'll be glad to assist as much as I can, point you into other YouTubers out there that do a phenomenal job by instructing and teaching. Not just necessarily about the camera itself, right? Because this is just a tool. It's about your vision and what you want to see. And I will never tell you or anyone who wants to learn about their vision, because it's what you want to see. It's what you see, what you perceive, your creativity, the thought and mind process that you actually have when you put everything together and you see that finished product is just wow. It is an awesome thing to see, whether you print it or you edit it and you post it to YouTube. It doesn't matter, right? As long as you go out here, even if you have your iPhone or your Google Pixel or Samsung phone, whatever you have that can take an image and shoot video that's creative enough, you can do whatever you want, right? You can make yourself have fun with it for just personal use, family and friends distribution, or if you want to go professional. It doesn't matter. If you have a desire to capture image and capture the light that's around you and put them into a picture frame or a digital frame or post them on social media, whatever it is, if you want to do it, the world is your oyster, right? There are some things we got to worry about when it comes to where you can shoot and when you can shoot and who you can shoot. But I will tell you this, you can just have a good time. And this could be a great stress reliever for some of you guys that, are just not sure what to do. You have a hard day at work and you come home and you're not sure what to do. Pick up a camera, go out to the park and go take a few shots of just some leaves falling down, or the dogs playing at the dog park, or your kids, right? Your kids are probably the biggest and easiest subjects that you can actually get a hold of, unless they're really little and they're running around, and just have fun with them. And that's the thing, you want to have fun. It's all about fun and creativity and just the ability to kind of stand out and showcase what you see and your vision and how you actually see the world, capturing that and sharing it with everybody that you love, or just family or friends or anyone else. And it's kind of odd if I said love. Hopefully you love your family and your friends. Somewhat of a long video, but at the same time I wanted to just explain where I was at. And for those who didn't know, yes, I am now an alpha shooter. I am now back at Sony, and I think I'm going to be here for a while. I thought about other brands or other models out there, but I wanted to keep my budget kind of low because I wanted to buy a few accessories and lenses. But instead of me buying a wide angle lens plus this lens here, I decided just to buy this guy, and voila, I got a nice little kit. So thanks for joining, and I hope you guys have a great holiday season. And right now, if you're looking, deals are still going on. Most of the deals out there, like on this guys, this is brand new, so you're not going to see any deals on it. The A7IV is just a year old, so you're not really seeing any deals on that one. But there are other models within the family. The ZV-1, for instance, which is the upgrade to this one with the zoom lens, it's normally I think $799. It's on sale for $649 right now. That sale, even though they say it's going to end tomorrow, it probably will carry over. Once again, it's a little warm in my room. As you can see, my fireplace on my wall is really making me sweat. So you guys have a great holiday season. We'll see you soon. Have a good one. Did you just fart?